Delhi air quality index is one of the worst and lowest as we speak right now. 14 out of the 15 most polluted cities in the world are in India. Right. Can I make my country clean?
So when do you think India will pick up in terms of having these dense charging stations and people, buying EV vehicles without this tension at all?
Yeah. So I would like to answer this question with the real data. So far in India, the voltage architecture, that's what you call for cars, is roughly 400 volts. And I want to educate the audience through this platform. Your home wiring is not meant for electric vehicles. Again, let me make it very clear. As I told you, those copper wires are not designed to withstand those quantums of energy. So the copper wire burns. Once the copper wire burns, the plastic burns. And you know how disastrous it is if the battery catches fire.
India wasting time on slower AC charging, or should every public charger be DC fast charging to accelerate adoption?
Yes, India is wasting time.
So So is your next personal vehicle purchase an EV, a hybrid, or are you waiting for a hydrogen fuel cell technology?
No, my next vehicle purchase would be EV. And that's how in the year of Jan 2024, we started Thunder Plus as a brand. When we started Thunder Plus as a brand, our first month's revenue was 8.3 lakhs. 12 months, by 2025 Jan, that 8.3 lakhs has become.
So what is the single biggest misconception new students in the EV masterclass you have done have about the industry?
They think that electric vehicle technology is something rocket science, but they need to understand it is just. Seven years back, 5 years back, if a car was of 50 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt, the expectation is that 2 hours, 2.5 hours for it to get charged. Versus 15 minutes now. Again, this is not a technical prophecy. It is something that is happening right now.
Hi Rajiv, it's an absolute pleasure having you with us today on the Bizz show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Yeah. So, can we think that you are the next big thing in the EV revolution?
Maybe, definitely.
Yeah.
See, EV industry as such is anyway growing, and we are solving one of the biggest problems in the entire ecosystem. That's the charging infra problem. So obviously, the bigger problem you solve, the probability that you become big is higher. So that way, maybe you're correct.
So how's your journey? I mean, how has it been till now, and how did you venture into EV and all this?
That's a good question. So, to just quickly reflect upon my career and how I ended up here. So, I'm an engineer by qualification, bachelor's in mechanical, master's in automotive from one of the premium institutes in the country, IIT Madras. Unlike many of my friends who chose different fields, I was one of those few who decided to be in the core, automotive. So, I started my career with TVS Motors Company, worked on the designs of bikes. Then I joined another German company called Bosch, worked with them for about 5 years. That's where I was exposed to one of the world-class engineering and the quality of engineering. 5 years with Bosch in India and in Germany. Then I joined Mahindra & Mahindra, where I had an opportunity to build a product which is a confluence of automotive and e-commerce. So, and then I joined Gati, and it is during those time, 2017-18, when IKEA entered India, right? You see the beautiful Gachibowli, right? And Gati was the last mile delivery partner for IKEA. And IKEA was part of a global campaign called EV100 campaign, which means by 2030, all their mobility solutions must move from a fossil fuel based mobility to a renewable mobility. That is basically the EVs.
Yeah.
And Gayatri, like any other Indian company, signed the contract, etc. And when they were about to launch the operations, IKEA asked, where are the electric vehicles?
Yeah.
So that was when I joined Gati to start the EV operations for last mile deliveries in IKEA. And from there on, we expanded that solution to Amazon, Big Basket, Flipkart, Grofers, from Hyderabad to different parts of the country. So that's how my first introduction to electric vehicles, and I was there for about 4 years. Also part of the policy and drafting committee, working very closely with the central government, Delhi Dialogue and Action Committee with the Delhi government, AP government, Telangana government. And then I joined another company called Ito Motors. Ito Motors was basically a manufacturer of electric three-wheelers as well as a fleet operator. So that was when I realized that there is a great scope for electric vehicles, because two things. Number one, all oil import bills are ever growing. It was $160 billion almost 7-8 years ago. By 2030, it is going to be $300 billion, right? Almost double X, which is almost equivalent to the size of the entire automotive industry. That means whatsoever the wealth we create in the automotive industry, we are going to exchange that wealth only to import oil. Second thing, I'm sure you are aware now, the Delhi Air Quality Index is one of the worst and lowest as we speak right now. 14 out of the 15 most polluted cities in the world are in India, right? So that was when I realized that this has got both a commercial connotation as well as a service connotation in terms of, can I make my country clean, right? So that's where I pursued it further. And at the time I was invited by the government of Andhra Pradesh to lead their EV policies and investment promotions with them for about a year and a half. Then I went to US, finished my MBA. While I was in US, what I noticed is, in the EV ecosystem in the US, which is of course matured with players like Tesla, etc., every 15 cars were sharing one public charging station. Whereas in India, that number is one public charging station shared by 300 to 400 cars. So when I came back from US, I realized that if an EV revolution has to further continue, if the penetration of electric vehicles has to further increase, the biggest problem is not range anxiety, not cost, not technology. Because even if you were to give 1,000 kilometers range, the question is, what about my 1,001st kilometer?
True.
Correct? So the biggest problem is not range anxiety, but charger anxiety. Wherever I see, do I have a charger? Wherever I go, can I get a fast charger? Can I quickly charge my vehicle for about 15-20 minutes in an opportunity charging and move forward? So that was when I realized that this is an important problem to be picked up. And when I went to the investors, they were kind enough to understand this particular thing. And that's how in the year of Jan 2024, we started Thunder Plus as a brand. When we started Thunder Plus as a brand, our first month's revenue was 8.3 lakhs. Okay. 12 months, by 2025 Jan, that 8.3 lakhs has become 83 lakhs. From one state, we expanded to 16 states. One city to 40 cities. From one charger to 1,000 plus chargers. And by March, we did the top line of 10 crores with EBITDA positive. Now, why I'm mentioning EBITDA positive is, none of the EV charging companies in India right now are profit making. All of them are burning cash. Then between April and now, by October, we broke our own 10 crores record. And we are inching towards a 25 to 30 crores top line, right? So that's how my journey has begun. And thank God, he has been kind enough to bless us. And most importantly, we thank all our partners, customers, ecosystem enablers who trusted in the solution that we are building. And despite having multiple other players, they chose to take our services, all our customers, and here we are today.
So it's been an awesome journey, and I think it's also an inspiration to many who just want to, venture into startups and all that, because like you said, it's not always negative. With hard work and, inspiration like you, they can also...
That's right.
Yeah.
But startup journey needs to be very cautious. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
See, most of the times when people look at interviews like this, when they look at newspapers and articles, they think startup is for everybody. And what happens is they jump into the journey without the right preparation. Just as an example, before starting this, I ran 2 more startups. One was called EV Masterclass. Other one was called CXO's Club. While both of them gained traction, but not both of them were able to generate enough revenue to sustain. Yeah. So one needs to have the capability, at least a runway of 6 months to 12 months, especially for the newcomers. What I would suggest is, like the way you save for RD, like the way you save for so and so. If startup is on your mind, don't just jump into it immediately. don't expect that you will get an investor from day one. In my case, I have been fortunate enough to get a very, I would say, knowing personality and the one who understands this ecosystem. But this may not be the case with everybody, right? So I would recommend them that before the investor writes his first check, ensure you have a runway up to 12 months. You don't get salary. You might have to pay salary. You may not get revenue. You may not get traction. You will at least need 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months to start moving your idea into a commodity in the market. So the best way is start saving for yourself. You become the investor of your own. And also be quick to pivot. Most of the times what happens is, since this is my idea, my startup, the potential threat is that you are emotionally attached to that idea and you forget to pivot when the market gives different signals that this is not the product I'm looking at. I need some kind of a deviations. People ignore to pivot. But the data says every successful startup at least went through 17 pivots before they became what they are, before they became unicorns. Just that we do not get to see what those 16 pivots are. We only see the 17th pivot, right? So be inspired, be motivated, be ambitious, but most importantly, be prepared, especially in terms of finances. That would be my advice.
So very nice that we got a masterclass on startups as well as EV. So coming back to our topic, Rajiv. So like you see, I mean, I've picked it from your, talk before. So a lot of potential buyers in India now, they have either you say charging anxiety or range anxiety. Okay. Whenever, especially they take on highways. So I mean, the tension is always there. When will we get stranded and all that? So when do you think India will pick up in terms of having these dense charging stations and people, buying EV vehicles without this tension at all, without considering this aspect?
So I would like to answer this question with real data. Okay. So far in India, the voltage architecture, that's what you call for cars, is roughly 400 volts. Okay. And then the amperes is roughly 200 amperes. Okay. That means maximum up to 80 to 100 kilowatt energy is what you can consume per hour. Basis the charger capacity. Very recently, we had a strange visitor. The name of the visitor is BYD Celeon 7. That's a new vehicle that was launched on a higher architecture, 400 versus 600 to 800 volts. And the ability of the car was not just 200 amps, it was able to take 375 to 400 amps. Now look at this, 600 volts and 250 to 300 amps. We are talking about 150 kilowatt power to 200 kilowatt power, or 150 kilowatt hour to 200 kilowatt hour energy being dispensed. Now, generally the battery sizes are around 50 to 60 kilowatt. Imagine if per hour the charger is able to dispense 200 kilowatt hour. That means this particular vehicle will automatically get charged up to 80% within 15 minutes. 7 years back, 5 years back, if a car was of 50 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt, the expectation is that I need to wait at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours for it to get charged. Versus 15 minutes now. Again, this is not a technical prophecy. It is something that is happening right now. Okay. So the answer to the question, how long will it take for an Indian market to mature to that stage? I would say we are already there, number one. Second thing is, it happens highway by highway. I'll tell you, it is more a network expansion. For example, Thunderplus, the company that I come from, we have a 0.5 megawatt charging station in Hyderabad. We have a 0.5 to 1 megawatt charging station in Suryapet. And we have again 0.5 to 1 megawatt charging station in Vijayawada. All of them are able to dispense 300 amps, 375 amps. That means all of these charging stations can pause for about 15 minutes and charge their vehicle up to 80%. Obviously, someone drives for about 2 hours. He will take a bio break. Within that 15-20 minutes, he gets his vehicle charged. Then again, he moves. So, from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, at least as we speak right now, the charger anxiety is gone.
Okay.
Now, we extended the solution from Vijayawada to Visakhapatnam. Similarly, we will continue to do that from Vijayawada to Bangalore, Vijayawada to Chennai. Not just me. Every charge point operator is now targeting the highways.
So, Rajiv, if a driver or, a consumer, he has an electric vehicle or a fleet, say. So, suppose he's changing different states or different locations. So, he needs different apps or different, networks to pay or, you know, connect
Correct.
with different networks. So if we see like now for petrol, diesel, we have many simplified payments like
Yes,
UPI and all
yes,
that.
yes.
So how do you think this scenario is evolving and how is Thunder Plus approaching it?
Very good. See, as we speak right now, there are more than 30 charge point operators in the country, small to big.
Right. Yeah.
Each of these 30 charge point operators have their own apps.
Hmm.
And each of these 30 charge point operators are interconnected. That means my chargers are seen on MG's eHub as a platform. My chargers are seen on Tata Motors. My chargers are seen on my competitor Static, and Static chargers are seen on mine. So it is more like a mobile roaming, right? Despite you having an Airtel SIM,
Yeah.
it can connect to Vodafone, etc. So for the end customer, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It is the same case with the charge point operators also. So Thunder Plus that way is collaborated with all the OEMs. That means anybody can see Thunder Plus chargers in the specific OEM apps. Thunder Plus is also collaborated with similar charge point operators, and our chargers can be seen. And then the payment integration is also very, very simple. On top of it, I spoke to you about the PME drive, right? The government of India is also mandating one hub called National Unified Hub. As part of the PME drive scheme, all these 70,000 chargers that are being targeted or that are being focused to be built must be enlisted on this National Unifying Hub. That way what happens is there will be one single application across the country where all the chargers are listed.
That's, I mean, good to know because it will become more convenient for
So these are all technological or technical prophecies. That means you may not see them now, but probably 1.5, 2 years from now, you will see all of this happening.
So hope for that. And coming to another, you know, very quite common to see scenario, we have many residential buildings and apartments, right?
Yes.
So each building is not equipped with a
That's
EV
true.
charging
That's true.
station or a point, right?
That's true.
So again, installing it for one customer again is an issue.
Yes.
So suppose they might say, I mean, if there are 3, 4 more customers, like you
Yes.
said, internet, if there are more subscribers,
Yes.
we'll just provide it.
Yes.
So that's becoming an issue for people to consider it, maybe. Like for most of the people. Even for two-wheelers, it's becoming very difficult. So four-wheelers, it's more difficult. So what's your take on it?
See, very good question. And I want to educate the audience through this platform. Please remember, your home wiring is not meant for electric vehicles. Again, let me make it very clear to you. Your home wiring, this 3 square mm copper wire that you use or a 16 amps plug that you use is not meant for electric vehicles, especially not those vehicles which are very powerful now. What are they meant for? They are meant for your washing machines, refrigerators, TVs, etc. Why? What would happen if I were to charge with them? Simple. In a charging scenario, what happens is the vehicle becomes the master and then the charger becomes the slave. If the vehicle is hungry, it would demand more current.
Yeah.
Now, when more current passes through the copper wire, it would result in increasing the temperature. As I told you, those copper wires are not designed to withstand those quantums of energy. So the copper wire burns. Once the copper wire burns, the plastic burns. Once the plastic burns, positive and negative get connected, and that we call as short circuit. And once a short circuit happens, it is a matter of seconds for those flames to come and catch fire with respect to the battery. And you know how disastrous it is if the battery catches fire. So I recommend all of you, please abstain using your regular plug points from charging. Now, I've scared you enough, right? But I'll also give you the solution, right? But that's not where you need to fret or worry about. Like the way many apartments, they have common gym, they have common swimming pool, or they have common utility facilities. Similarly, what we are doing with many residential societies is, we are creating a common charging infrastructure with right certifications in place, with right products in place, with right safety protocols in place, and with right permissions in place. Now what happens, like the way people use the other amenities, here also the two-wheelers come, they fast charge and go. The four-wheelers come, they fast charge and go. And all that money goes into the common account, which is basically the maintenance amount. So that way the burden of the maintenance on the society also comes down. And otherwise what happens, imagine you have a 20-story building and each floor you have say 110 flats and you have 200 flats. If everybody buys an EV, that means you would draw from every meter to the parking lot, it becomes a mess, right? So the solution for all such people is create these common facilities, build this common infrastructure, and let it be used by people. You don't have to unnecessarily disturb the existing domestic power infrastructure for the, I would say, charging electric vehicles.
Got it. So, speaking of, franchises, we have heard of restaurants, we have heard of coffee chains.
Yes.
But in the charging scenario, I think this is the first time people are hearing. So, what's it about, and how did you get this idea of, giving franchiseships in EV charging scenario?
Correct. Any industry goes through an S curve. Okay. Now, S curve is where the initial, I would say, traction comes. This is called early adopters. And then there comes a pivotal point where the technology itself pulls up and then gets stabilized. Let me talk about few examples. In 1980s was actually the beginning of an S curve for computer/software. Whosoever invested their time, efforts, money, energy into this, without them necessarily doing anything, they grew along with the curve.
Yeah.
The likes of Infosys, the likes of Wipro, the likes of Mindtree, all of them were born out of that IT revolution. Similarly, in 2000s, e-commerce as a revolution, again an S curve. The likes of Flipkart, Big Basket, Snapdeals, etc. You saw how it made a lot of millionaires. 2020s, we are, for an EV industry perspective, we are at that influx. So, if anybody were to leverage this growth in technology, they need to be involved in the ecosystem. And one of the best ways to involve in this ecosystem is through charging infrastructure. So, this, when I realized, I thought, why should Thunderplus alone grow? Why can't I grow multiple times by bringing multiple people into this? Why should it only be limited to those investors, right? Why can't it be open to public? So that's where we started Thunderplus as a franchise, where the franchise in certain cases starts as low as 2 lakh, 5 lakh rupees. It goes up to 1 CR. Now the returns are also like that. The way we have designed the returns is that you don't have to worry about what will happen to your money. Like you rightly mentioned, franchisee in food industry, people are aware. Franchisee in electronics such as Chroma, etc., Reliance Digital, people are aware. Franchisee in apparel, people are aware. Franchisee in coffee, people are aware. And the cycle is also established, how much they would get, etc. But when it comes to EV, not many are aware. That's why we brought in multiple, I would say, dimensions and incentives where we are saying that even if your business goes down, the delta which is less than 12%, I am going to assure that business to you. And I'm saying that your return times will be less than 4 to 5 years. Within 4 to 5 years, whatever you invest, you would reap it back and restore its all, I think, profits. So I believe that we are at the influx of the technology. More people can be part of this particular technology and leverage their growth along with the growth of the technology.
So what are the benefits that, your franchises get?
Any business, if you speak at this point of time, if you invest money, that is not just enough. You will have to invest your time, efforts and everything into this, right? But when it comes to EV as a technology, the question that people will have is, oh, I don't know what is electric vehicles. I don't know what is charging infra. What will I do? Okay, I have money, but what will I do taking care of it? So, to eliminate that anxiety from them, what we said is our franchisee model is always franchisee invested, company operated, which means you can come as an investor, you can be involved in the in the business, but be rest assured, I have my team that will run your operations. Right? So, from a technology perspective, you don't have to worry, number one. Second thing is, for any franchisee, the dilemma or the anxiety is, will I get business?
Returns.
Will customers come? How will they come? Now, as I'm speaking to you, we are tied up with all the major 4-wheeler OEMs. We are tied up with all the major 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler OEMs. We are also tied up with bus operators such as JBM, Electra, Flixbus, Turno, Voltron. Right? That means we have specialized discounted rates that are agreed with upon them. So whenever I set up a charging station, all it takes for me is to inform my customers that, hey, there is a charging station available. And from the next day onwards, you will see influx of customers there. So apart from operations that I'm taking care, I am also driving business to the franchisee. So your business is taken care, your operations is taken care. What else you need? Right? So that's how we are giving the comfort to the franchisees that yes, you may have land, you may not have land, you have money, you want to invest, be there. Be of assurance that operations will be taken care by me. business will be taking care of me. Then you might as well ask, what if the business doesn't come? That's where I have my assured business guarantee program, where I say, if suppose you start in the month of Jan 2026, by December 31st Jan 2027, I am confident that you will make returns of more than 15-16%. I am confident. For some reason, if it comes to 10% or 9%, the delta of 2%, without any questions asked, I would fund that gap. Now you might ask, why the 12%? Simple. An FD gives anywhere between 4 to 6%. And a mutual fund investment anywhere gives between 8 to 10%, maximum 12%. And a stock market based on the ups and downs gives anywhere between 11 to 13%. But mutual fund and stocks are not, I would say, they do not give you the liquidity. In the sense, you cannot withdraw whenever you want. You cannot expect the returns every month consistently. So that's where I'm combining the comfort of an FD, where I'm saying 12% is assured, right? Come what may, I'll give you 12%. So your capital is secure. And at the same time, I'm trying to beat the FD by giving returns which are equivalent to a mutual fund or a stock investor. So in that case, why do we have to put it in the market and then pray to God that the market goes up or market comes down? Better be part of the, I would say, EV community. Number one, it gives you a shan nishan. You become an owner of yourself. You become an entrepreneur of your own charging station. It is just the beginning. And as I told you, at the influx, when you are attached with the technology pulls you up. There is no doubt about it. You won't you may wonder that next millionaires might come from the startups and the ecosystems of EVs. Flipkart was the first Indian company that produced maximum number of millionaires right from office boy till the boardroom. Why? Because they were given ESOPs. Right? And those are the miracles that are going to be unveiled in the EV industry also. So that's where I encourage people to be involved in the ecosystem.
So I think me and the audience also would be interested to invest right now.
Absolutely, you should.
Yeah, so very interesting concept. I think that's a very unique, thinking as well, right? So
Correct.
I mean, you again giving them assurance and all that, and thinking of this, arriving upon this 12%, all that is also very meritable.
You like the logic?
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much. Thank you.
So as we speak now, since we have spoken about logistics companies, for them like downtime is almost death, right?
Yes.
So we have spoken about like domestic vehicles and
Correct.
a single customer till now. But you have also worked with commercial
the fleet
vehicles.
operators.
Yeah,
Correct.
right. So how do you think our current electricity grid capacity, or to enhance all of the fleet to EV, is it really feasible right now, or do you think it will take time?
So at this point of time, is the existing grid sufficient? The answer is yes.
Okay.
But is the grid stable? Are you getting uninterrupted supply? Is the power always on? The answer is no. Okay.
True,
Then the question, very nice question, right? Then how do you serve the customers? I'm sure you would have seen the memes where in Pune, in the rest of the places, an electric vehicle being charged by a diesel generator. The reason why you bring EVs is to reduce the pollution. And then you charge the EV burning diesel, right? Makes no sense. But why that inevitable paradox has come is because the grid not being available, the power not being available, the operations needs to run, the vehicle needs to be charged, and hence. So obviously the best solution would be make the grid more stable, make it more accessible to nook and corners of the country. The rural and semi-urban areas, the mines, etc. must have the grid lines going. Is one simple solution. But it is easier said than done, right? It takes immense efforts to develop that infrastructure.
True.
Then what is the other solution? Develop portable chargers which can generate energy and charge your vehicle. Get your point, right? Independent of grid. But if you do that with fossil fuels such as diesel generators, it's of no use.
No use, yeah.
That's why very recently we launched a product called Me Energy. Now what is this product? Very, very interesting product.
Okay.
This is a generator plus a charger that runs on a biofuel called ethanol. Now, where do you get from ethanol? Ethanol from split rice, maize, corn, sugarcane, molasses, right?
Yeah.
So, it is not taken from fossil fuels, right? It is a plant-based thing. And the carbon emissions it is 90% lesser than the CO2 that is emitted through diesel. So, what we do here is, it is a product, I'll share the photos, you can probably stream them, right?
Yeah.
It has got a 2000 liters of ethanol tank. Then we have an engine. That engine burns this ethanol, converts it into electricity, and it is pumped through two guns, 75 kilowatt each into the vehicle. So this way what happens is, irrespective of the grid, being available or not, up or down, this we call liquid electricity. That means you can take it anywhere, right? So that's again a new innovation that we launched, and we are very happy that the chief managing director of Electra, right, the crown of Telangana, right, of Mega Engineering Limited, Shri Mahesh Babu garu, he came to inaugurate this, and he appreciated that because many of their roadside assistance for buses, many of the times their depots are down because of the power grid. They want to shift from a diesel generator based to ethanol based EV charger. So this is a new innovation that we have added recently.
That's very amazing to know. So next, if we see, like, the technology is changing very rapidly.
Very
right?
rapidly.
In a split second also,
Yes.
you see many changes.
Yes.
So suppose I become your franchisee, okay,
Yes.
I invest in all the hardware. And even if I'm not, so you are also investing in some hardware, right? So because of this, like, huge technological advancement day after day. So what if this becomes,
Obsolete.
outdated after, like, you can say 6 months or 3 years or 5 years. So how do you, think of it again? You have to, like, revamp everything, or how is it?
Very, very practical and good question. If you notice the computers and laptops we initially bought, probably 10-15 years ago, a 2 GB RAM probably, and maybe a 40 GB hard disk used to be the best. And now we are talking about 12 GB RAM and a 1 to 2 DB hard disk, right? Now, did the technology evolve? Yes. The specifications became better? Yes. The integrated circuit chips, the ICs, have they become smaller? Yes. But computer as an industry exists?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Why I brought this particular analogy is, it is the same with EVs. For example, as you rightly mentioned, 3-4 years back, if you consider a 30 kilowatt DC charger or a 60 kilowatt DC charger, those are a big deal. Why? Because the vehicles are of a 25 kilowatt hour capacity. So if you connect a 60 kilowatt charger, the vehicle gets charged in 30 minutes. But now vehicles are coming at 100 kilowatt hour battery capacity. The BE6 series, the Born Electric series of Mahindra and Daimlers and BYDs, etc. They have battery capacities of 100 kilowatt hour. Now, to match that requirement of 100 kilowatt hour, you can't have a 30 kilowatt and a 60 kilowatt DC. So from a charging perspective, what happened? A 240 kilowatt chargers, a 320 kilowatt chargers, a 480 kilowatt chargers will come up. So what I'm trying to say is, the specifications get better, the products get better, but the technology as such doesn't change. So for example, if you have set up a 120 kilowatt or a 240 kilowatt charging station, maybe 5 to 6 years down the line, the car's architecture will become even more faster, that you might have to upgrade just the charger, right? So the technology in a charging infra doesn't become obsolete. There is always scope for upgradation. See, for example, you start a charging infra with 240 kilowatt and you are dispensing, say, for example, 1000 units per day, which means around 5 hours engagement. That means the question is, can I expand this from 240 to another 480? So that along with 1000, you will have another 300, 400 units, right? So that way there is a lot of scope for expansion, but there is nothing to be afraid about being obsolete to the technology, because the technology remains same. Just that the specifications, products, deliverables and the speeds, they get better and better.
So people can be rest assured.
People can be rest assured. That's why we said we are your operations partner. If we leave it to you and then say, I have sold it to you, it is your headache. No, we are not going to. 8 years, 7 years of the engagement that we are with you, we are working hand in glove with you to ensure that you are successful. So nobody needs to have such kind of worries.
Such a kind, yeah. Beautifully explained. So Rajiv, one more practical doubt is that, unlike the foreign countries, we are still, using a lot of 2 and 3 wheelers when compared to 4 wheelers and cars, right?
That's correct.
So suppose I were to say that, again, we are talking about all the highway scenarios and all those, last mile highway and all that, beautiful to hear. But if we were to, convert all our existing auto rickshaws or, bikes into EVs, so again, because of the high population, so keeping aside grid, even if you speak about the other kind of generators and all that, do you think it's practically possible at all?
It is practically possible for 2 reasons. Most of the 2-wheelers, they come with a capacity of 3 to 4 kilowatt battery, right? And generally, they are given a charger of 3.3 kilowatt capacity, which means at home or so, they can charge it probably in 1.5 to 2 hours. Most two-wheelers, unless they are used for commercial applications such as Swiggy, Blinkit, Zepto, etc. If you and I use a two-wheeler, we either charge at office or we charge at home. And once you charge, it gives you 80 to 100 kilometers. It is highly unlikely that a regular office commuter will run 80 to 100 kilometers in a day. That means one gets to charge every 2-3 days. So from a two-wheeler perspective, majority of the demand is going to come from the home. However, now two-wheeler companies also are equipped themselves with a type 6 connector or light electric vehicle direct current chargers, which means they can pump up to 12 kilowatt, 8 kilowatt into the battery, which means that's where we have another product called Chai Pay Charge, where we say within 10 minutes of your chai break, your two-wheeler gets charged up to 80%. So those solutions already exist, right? This is from a two-wheeler's perspective. So at home you have scope. If you want faster charging, you have them. Now coming to three-wheelers. The charging technology is basically LEV-DC, light electric vehicle direct current, low voltage GBT, that's a protocol of China, and then the high voltage of CCS2, that is a protocol of Europe and other places. Now, initially when the cars were launched, they were launched at GBT protocol, all the earlier Tata vehicles, etc. Now all the cars have gone into CCS2 protocol, a little higher voltage. So then what's happening in the GBT? The three-wheelers which were earlier only using the AC current are maturing into a GBT suitable protocol, right? And also LEV-DC. So with this, what's happening is three-wheelers also right now are getting into a technology where they can be fast charged in 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Once the fast charging gets into picture, and once you have these fast chargers vividly available everywhere, there is nothing to be worried about, because other than two-wheelers and the cars, none of the other vehicles would be charged also at home along with a charging station.
So are you also working on these EV solutions for offices? Like you have spoken about home, domestic. One is the last mile for commercial vehicles. So people coming regularly to office or office fleets. So are you working on?
Yes, of course. There are many office buildings within Hyderabad where we have set up EV charging stations, combination for two-wheelers, combination for four-wheelers. Yes, we have done that and we are working on it. And we are doing it very, very cost effective. Some of the bigger brands that have worked both in terms of commercial and residence, for example, My Home Properties, My Home Mangala, the entire EV charging infrastructure is done by us. Right? So, yeah, it is already in place. It is just a matter of time before things come out.
Yeah, got it. So, as we speak about charging infrastructure, what do you think is the next big thing or revolution in the EV space other than this charging infrastructure? What, rapid changes do you see, and how even this EV charging thing can evolve with that?
From a charging infra perspective, what you would see is higher currents, higher voltage products coming into picture. Now, when higher current and higher voltage comes into picture, right now most of these charging guns and then the cables are convection cooled. That means they are cooled through a process where the air, they are exposed to air, where the air takes care of the temperature. But then with higher currents coming in, you will start witnessing liquid cooled, water cooled guns, right? That is number one. Second thing, what is going to happen is the size of these units is going to come down. Third thing, what is going to happen is the entire charging infrastructure will be underground. You don't get to see. For example, there are certain fuel stations, if you notice, you don't see the dispensers. All diesel, petrol, etc. is underground, and you have dispenser guns hanging from the top where you use, and then you release, they go up. You don't see any, I would say, pedestrian things there. That's exactly what is going to happen in charging. You will not see a charger at all. All you will see is guns. So, for example, this is the place. The chargers would be either behind the walls or the charger would be underground. Only you will see is guns and sockets. This is number two. The third most important thing that is going to come is energy storage system. What does it mean by energy storage system? It is a combination where one taps the solar energy, stores them in static batteries, and whenever there is grid unavailability, grid instability, etc., energy is drawn from this particular battery and it is pumped into this. So these are the new technologies that would be coming up in the charging ecosystem.
Got it. So for anybody who wants to enter this EV charging scenario, either as an entrepreneur or they want to, just explore this field as a startup, so what advice would you give them?
Do your research, right? So with the advent of AI, with the information available everywhere, with a lot of videos around, right now gathering information, gathering knowledge is not a challenge at all, right? So do not depend on hearsay. Do your own research. To do your research, you don't have to be an electrical and electronics engineer, because I'm telling you that the entire technology is being taken. But do your research so that you are convinced rightly. To facilitate this, for example, if you look at Thunder Plus YouTube channel, less of Thunder Plus promotions, more of education on charging infra. Why? Because what we have realized is, if somebody wants to learn something about charging, there is no information available. Right? So that's where, for example, the conversation that we have, I could as well just promote only the franchisee. But then we are talking about the technology, we are talking about power infrastructure, we are talking about future technologies that would coming in. All of this is because these are all educatory content for the people, right? So I will advise them, right, for Bizz, right, all these Thunder Plus YouTube channels, go through them, do your research. You get convinced first. Understand the numbers. When I say 12%, understand, okay, 12%, that means if I invest 30 lakhs, then I get 3.6 lakhs per annum. That means 30,000 rupees per month. Is it a good thing? Yeah, wow. Seems to be a good thing, right? So do your math, do your analysis, do your research, validate, discuss with friends, and talk to the specialists like counselors from us. And once you are completely, I would say, equipped with all of these things, you can come ahead. In fact, majority of my franchise owners, do you know who they are? They are already working in IT companies. 9 to 5 they are engaged. They have, I would say, savings up to 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. And they are not happy keeping that 40, 50 lakhs in the bank accounts, and hence a passive income generator. Now we are working with banks like SBI, Canada and SIDBI, where we want to expose these entrepreneurs to the banks and then say, you don't have to completely go wide of your savings. Like the way for a house, you don't buy entire 1 crore and then buy a house, right? You put a down payment of 20-25 lakhs and 75 lakhs is loan. That is exactly what we are working with these nationalized and scheduled banks, where the investors probably, if the cost is 1 crore, he only invests 20-25 lakhs. The 75 lakhs comes from the bank. But again, the beauty is, I'm anyway giving him the business guarantee of 12 to 15%. And then the bank interests are generally between 8 and 9%. Right? So even in this way, the math really works. So we are also working out multiple things so that the investor, right, he's more comfortable venturing into this. And we need, India as a country, we need more entrepreneurs. We need more risk takers to come into this. And as I told you, especially since we are at the nascent of the technology, India is not only going to be a global marketplace, it is also going to be a global manufacturing hub, right, to the rest of the world. So I would always encourage, do your research, get yourself equipped, come and talk to us, be part of this journey. You might be the next millionaire, who knows?
Amazing. So I think you advised people to research well enough. So I think you have researched it to the core before entering. So I mean, by going by, the ideas that you have or the schemes or the ideas that you are implementing, it's awesome.
Thank you so much.
So we have a few rapid fire questions now.
Okay.
So I think we expect them to be lightning fast. Actually.
Okay.
Just like a chargers.
Thank you.
So India wasting time on slower AC charging, or should every public charger be DC fast charging to accelerate adoption?
Yes, India is wasting time.
So you didn't even let me complete the question. It's sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So when will charging an average EV battery to 80% be consistently achievable in under 5 minutes in India?
So probably 4 to 5 years from now. That's it.
Okay. Is battery swapping for 2 and 3 wheelers the future, or is stationary charging destined to win?
So it will be a combination together. There will be some models among 2-wheelers which will thrive on battery swapping. But with the fast charging that is coming in, the time difference between a swap as well as a fast charger is lesser. So it will be a combination of both.
Okay. Will the massive simultaneous charging of millions of EVs cause a major power grid failure in any Tier 1 city by 2030?
At this point of time, no, nothing to be worried about.
Okay.
Because we are talking about a V2G technology. That means one is grid to vehicle, the other one is vehicle to grid. That means when the vehicles are not in use and the grid is in demand, the vehicle can supply the power to the grid. Of course, that is yet to come. That will not happen. Don't worry.
Okay. So are the cost and headache of charger maintenance and vandalism the biggest unseen threat to the network expansion?
At this point of time, yes.
Yes.
Because we abuse more than we use.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the single biggest misconception new students in the EV masterclass you have about the industry?
They think that electric vehicle technology is something rocket science, but they need to understand it is just combination of few capacitors, resistors, and some technology. If at all there is anything that is innovative that is happening in EV as an industry, that is happening at the battery cell, that is happening at the battery management system, that is happening at the motor level. But rest of the components are as they are existing for a regular vehicle technology, and especially from a charging perspective. If somebody says I'm bringing a great innovation in the charger, trust me, he is lying through the teeth. These are simple electronic products that are brought together and assembled.
So if Tesla were to flood the Indian market with affordable EVs tomorrow itself, so is our charging infrastructure ready to handle the sudden demand?
At this point of time, no.
No. Right.
That's where you have a lot of opportunity to make money through franchise.
Yeah. What is the target price point, you can say in lakhs, for an EV four-wheeler that will finally trigger mass adoption across India?
So I think around 10 lakhs. That's where I think most people would come. For example, Tata Nexon, when it was launched, but that's the successful EV, it was launched at around 15 to 16 lakhs. Great bet, right? So, but then the sweet spot would come when the vehicles come at 10 lakhs.
10 lakhs.
Already Tata launched its commercial vehicle called Tata Ace at less than 10 lakh rupees. And it has become the darling of the industry right now. It is matter of time before other companies come and then build Wagonars, etc. or Tiago around 10 lakhs,
10 lakhs
value.
yeah.
I think that's the sweet spot.
So how many years away is vehicle-to-grid technology from becoming a revenue source for an average Indian?
Only after 2030. Because we need minimum volume on quantum of vehicles to realize that particular technology. That will not happen anywhere between 2030.
Got it. So is your next personal vehicle purchase an EV, a hybrid, or are you waiting for a hydrogen fuel cell technology?
No, my next vehicle purchase would be EV.
EV. Okay. Since you are into that or?
See, for example, very recently I drove from Hyderabad to Vijayawada via an EV, and then the journey has been very, very comfortable. For example, I went with a 20 minutes charging here. Then after about 2 hours, and as I reached Suryapet, I took certain stretch, charged it only for 20 minutes, right? Then I went to Vijayawada, charged it for another 20 minutes. So I didn't feel that I wasted time for charging, number one.
Okay.
Second thing, there is no noise. There is no hassle of gears, etc. It is as good as driving a toy car. Very silent, very calm, right? So there is also less fatigue physically on you, right? So once I experience this, then when it comes to the performance, right? People underestimate EVs. They think, no, diesel may you have that rugged power. Man, see, diesel end of the day is still a mechanical engine. Which means it will have something called mechanical lag. But EV is an electronic product. You switch on, the motor runs. You increase the accelerator, the motor runs faster, right? So the response time of the motor and the vehicle is also faster. So with all this experience, my next vehicle definitely is going to be EVs.
EVs, great. Rajiv, we are going to participate in the CII conclave being organized in Andhra Pradesh in Visakhapatnam on 14th and 15th of November 2025. So what's your take on it?
So I'm very excited because just a month ago, when the government of Andhra Pradesh launched the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority building, they call it APCRDA building, we were invited by the Honorable Chief Minister and his team, and there we proposed a multi-modal transport system to the Chief Minister. Now, as part of this multi-modal transport system, what happens is, there is a unified ticketing system. That means you always have only one digital ticket. With the ticket, from your house to the nearest bus stand, you will be dropped by an electric three-wheeler or a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. From that place, you will be dropped by a bus to the next destination, electric bus. And from there to your final office, you will again be connected through either a three-wheeler, two-wheeler or four-wheeler. All of this happens through one single ticket.
Okay.
And all of this happens through electric vehicles. So we are launching this quadrilateral from Gannavaram Airport, Vijayawada, Amaravati and Guntur. That's what we have proposed. And now we were advised to consider a similar quadrilateral in Visakhapatnam. NAD Junction, then Pendurthi, Simhachalam and the bus stand. So that is again a 40-kilometer corridor. We are very excited, right, that Amaravati and Vizag would be first of those cities that will experience this multi-modal transport system, fully automated and driven by electric vehicles, all through a single ticketing or a unified app system. So that way we are very much excited because this is going to be the first in the country, and Eto Motors and Thunderplus together, we are very proud to be part of it, and I'm excited too.
That's amazing to here, I mean, this concept is very novel, like you see. So, Rajiv, I think there can be no better person to speak about EV charging scenario as of now. So, it's been a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled and I'm really challenged by your questions. And a great research has been done. This is not like any other podcast at a surface level. There is a lot of depth and meaning. And I'm sure our viewers have a lot to learn. So I encourage all of you, consider, I would say, your entrepreneurial stint in EVs. And once again, thanks Bizz, and thank you very much for such an amazing experience that I have. Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much.
Thank you.